Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a masterpiece for the modern generation of Zelda fans. The reason I say this is as a new fan of Zelda and a new fan to Nintendo in general, this game brought me into that fandom and made me a fan of this forever. It has completely changed my perspective on Nintendo and gaming as a whole, and it gave me a whole new appreciation for games in itself. As someone who is typically a, Call of Duty, GTA 5, a very casual, pick up and play, whatever's popular gamer. I was never really a hardcore person. I played my fair share of single player games, such as Fallout 4, Skyrim, and the basics of the past. And I played Dark Souls, and I played those games in the past, but I never played through them as much as I would play through, a multiplayer game. I would never have the same amount of hours. In fact, my most played game of all time is Ark Survival Evolved, which is a survival multiplayer game, and I got hooked in that for a very similar reason why Breath of the Wild hooked me in as well. The world of Breath of the Wild and the world that this game creates and the atmosphere that it puts upon you is an intense feeling that I could never describe to you in full. And the feelings that it brought me and the feelings that I gained after finishing this game was incredible. I played roughly 20 to 25 hours to beat the main campaign. Basically the main story. It took me 20 to 25 hours. Most people probably took way less, and the reason being is I found myself staring off into the sunset, the sunrise, just staring off into the atmosphere and the world that was this game. I found myself just exploring and just running and not really caring about the story as much as, one would, where I was at all times very focused in the story. I wasn't as, driven in as something that is more linear, such as Odyssey, which as well is an amazing game to its own right, but not nearly as amazing as this game was. The first point I like to bring up when I talk about this game is gameplay. Gameplay and the mechanics that come with this game are intense and very good. And it's the fact of the matter is it's a very easy game to pick up and learn. It doesn't hold your hand much at all at the start. It very much just throws you in this world to kind of figure it out for yourself. It shows you how to hit, shows you how to block, shows you how to do the very basics. It shows you how to do the Fury Rush, which is a very, very, very important move to learn and master. But most people probably won't take it as that, the casual person may not. And I was casual going into this. I expected it to be an easy walk in the park Nintendo game, just like Odyssey was. It took me less than 5, 6, 7 hours to beat Odyssey, which is insane. I beat it twice, and I'm currently working on 100%ing it right now, but it's very linear, very easy to move through. Whereas this game, I had no idea what to do. I found myself doing what I did when I played Skyrim, and I was looking up guides and tips and tricks on how to do this. So at the beginning of the game, I started out and I, followed the story. I went from the main plot. Well, there's gonna be spoilers in this, but I went from the main plateau down to, Kakariko Village, and I found myself talking to people there, finding all the chickens, and I figured out how to get the ferry there and upgraded my armor. And I went. So then I looked and I was like, oh, there's divine beasts I need to do. I'm gonna go do one of those. So I start heading up north and I meet one of the Zora people from the Zora domain, and I start doing their mission. I meet the people from the Zora domain, and I meet the leader, and I find out about Mifa, and I go and I defeat my first divine beast. It took me 4 or 5 or 6 tries to defeat that divine beast, just the boss in itself, just to beat Waterbright Ganon. It took me 4 or 5 tries, because I came into this game expecting to be a walk in the park, and from that point to then, it was. After that first experience with that boss, I realized this is not the game that I expected. It turned into a time waster, which I'd play laying in bed before I go to bed every night, or just hanging out with friends, and I'd be like, hey, look at this game on my Switch, look how awesome it is. It went from that to this all-time amazing experience, just from the gameplay standard by itself. And next thing I found myself doing was, after I defeated that divine beast and I watched it climb up on the hill, emerge out of the water, and shoot its laser straight into the Hyrule Castle, I was sitting there and I'm like, wow. This leads me right to my next point, the number 2, graphics. The graphics on this Switch, it's incredible. The style, the art style, I'm not even saying like graphically it's not intense or anything. It's not like playing, a game on my PC where I'm seeing something at, 4K 60 FPS, top speeds, amazing game. No, I'm seeing this at a 720p, 30 FPS on my handheld, but I'm blown away by the graphics. I'm rarely blown away by stuff like that. And now I find myself even more amazed that this little handheld machine, this little piece of equipment, left me mouth wide open. I remember when I met the leader of the mountain. I don't know what his name is in specific, but he's the little blue horse creature based off of one of the creators of the game. And I saw him for the first time. My mouth was open. I was staring in awe. It was amazing. It was a beautiful moment. And I remember the music picked up, and those little owl rabbits were all around, and they're looking at me, and I'm here, and I was just, I was overjoyed. I felt amazing. Or when I came up on the mountain and I saw the dragon covered in the calamity, and I free him from it, and I watch him fly off into the distance and fly up into a portal into who knows where, and I'm sitting there in awe and shock, almost like a kid when I first started playing video games, and it brought me back to that moment that I felt initially, and it was incredible. And that takes me right into the story. The story had me sucked in from the start. As soon as I found out about the Great Calamity, I thought 10,000 years ago before then, to 100 years ago it happened again. And I felt like I was a part of it. I felt like I was in this story, and I was actually someone important, and everything I did led up to me defeating Ganon. At first I was walking aimless, not really sure what I needed to do. And as soon as I defeated that first divine beast, I found myself hunting down shrines, trying to build up enough hearts to find the Master Sword, and that's all I cared about. I made a goal from the very beginning of the game. I discovered every single location. I went through every single region on the map, got every single tower, and I got every single shrine that I could. And I ended up having around 15 hearts, and I went into search for the Master Sword. I will admit, I cheated. I looked it up. I looked up the location on YouTube, of course, but still, I was completely immersed in it, and I was so excited. And I refused to do any tutorial on how to get the Master Sword and how to find it, and I won't say it here in the video because I don't want it to spoil for you. It's a very rewarding experience when you do figure out how to do it, and it's amazing. And when I finally got the Master Sword, at this point, I was very well off for myself. I had very good weapons, good equipment. I was ready. And I went out and I conquered all 3 divine beasts one after another. And then from that point on, the game sped up. I started getting all the divine beasts. I was getting way more powerful weapons and armor, and I was getting much more strong stuff. And I was building up a ton of arrows, at a huge arsenal, and I felt I was ready. So I completely ran right through the Hyrule Castle, skipped over everything, which is dumb. Don't do that. I regret it so much. I'm going back through to go through the castle and find all the hidden stuff and get, everything that I can get out of it and get a new experience. Because instead of that, I was focused on just defeating Ganon. And in that moment, my mind wasn't, I'm going to have fun and enjoy the game with this. I'm going to go kill Ganon, and I'm going to be the savior of Hyrule. That's all I thought about. I was so immersed in this. I wasn't caring about the game and having fun in the game. I was caring about defeating Ganon, because in that moment, I was like, I'm going to beat this guy right now. And I went in there, and I remember I didn't die, but I was trying to defeat him when he was in his fire mode where he just couldn't take arrows, and I was stuck. I was like, what do I do? I'd try to freeze time, couldn't get it. Like, there was nothing I could do, and then all of a sudden I realized I need to use my gifts that the divine beast gave me. So I start using that block, and he starts hitting it and getting stunned, and I'm just laying in hits, and then next thing I know, I defeated him, and I go out and I'm riding my horse, and this took me a couple tries because I didn't know I had to jump off my horse at the end, of course, but I ended up defeating Ganon. And afterwards, I literally ran outside in my living room and I was high-fiving everyone, saying, I just beat Zelda, and they're all looking at me with like the dumbest look, like. So I was just excited. It was a great moment. I texted my girlfriend. I said, I love you so much. I just beat Zelda. This is the like. It was a whole thing, and ever since then, I proudly say, oh yeah, I beat Zelda, and everyone's like, that game kind of looks stupid, and I'm like, no, trust me, this game is amazing, and especially for it to be as good as it is in 2018 when it came out last year, and most people have probably forgotten about it now, except for the fans. It's amazing. It's a truly incredible thing, and that leads me right into the bosses of the game, and it was the divine beasts and fighting the bosses and all the little mini bosses you find all across the world are so satisfying. Defeating them is so satisfying. It feels so good when you do it. it's not like Dark Souls level of hard, but some of those are a real challenge, like such as the Minotaur people. I don't know what they're called, what their name is right now off the top of my head, but those battles are very difficult and very rewarding when you do beat them. And especially some of the guardians as well. When I first was able to destroy a guardian with the Master Sword, oh my god, I was talking a lot of crap to a lot of people, saying I am the biggest badass in the whole world right now. It was a great moment, and I still look back to it now, and I'm like, man, I was cool, you know? And it's just a very satisfying experience defeating these bosses and being the champion of Hyrule. You're the badass. Everyone looks at you like, man, this guy's the cool guy. He's the guy in school that every girl wants to take to homecoming. Like, this is the dude right here. He's your man. He's Zelda. He's Link. Not Zelda. I'm not stupid. Sorry, but yeah, he's the man. He's Link. He's the badass. He's the hero of Hyrule. He's the one that we didn't know we needed, but we needed. He's the best. And just from that, it was a great experience, just being so powerful and fighting these bosses. And I died a lot, I'll admit, and probably the majority of my start of the game I just died constantly, but it was still rewarding and it still felt good. And to finish this off, I'm just gonna say, you can hear it in every single thing. I related it to myself as a personal experience. This is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. And I was never a Zelda fan before this. I played Skyward Sword, and that was it. Believe it or not, I can't lie to you guys. I was never a big Zelda person. I never took it as something that would be interesting to me. I liked Skyward Sword because I saw some YouTubers play it, and I thought it looked cool, and that was pretty much it. And from there, I bought this game because when I bought my Switch, everyone's like, "Oh, you need Legend of Zelda and you need Mario." And to me, I was looking at Zelda, and I told people, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pretty excited to play it. It looks like a like a Skyrim kind of game. It looks fun. I watched reviews about it. There's plenty of stuff about it. I got it not even a couple months ago, and I already knew a lot about it, and I knew it was gonna be a good game. But I didn't realize that it'd be such a good game that it brought me back into gaming. When I bought my Switch, I was considering quitting video games altogether. I was very much so at a stump, and I didn't have anything that was fun to me anymore, and I wasn't enjoying video games like I once did. And this game, the fact that it brought me back to that and brought me back to the childhood memories and the feelings that I got when I first played video games, when I first played, don't laugh at me, but when I first played Halo 3 off my dad's Xbox, and I was blown away by the game, and I was like, this is insane. This is so good. I played Halo 3. That was the first video game I've ever played. I was blown away. And then I got my first PlayStation, and I played the Lego games, and I played, it's kind of bad, but I played Call of Duties and stuff, and it was fun, man. It was a good time, and those are memories I'll never ever forget. And this game brought me back to that. It gave me those childhood memories. And for anyone looking to buy this game, this was a very personal video for me. I didn't really make it to try to sell it to you. I just told you how it sold to me and how it affected me, and I hope with that you guys can see this game and maybe give it a shot, because who knows, maybe it'll bring you back to that childhood memories and give you that nostalgic feeling. And if you are a kid, this is a great game to play and start your gaming journey. I would definitely recommend it. This is the Otter, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.